everybody, and welcome to the meeting of the Cabinet Grants panel. Unfortunately, Councillor Bennett, who would normally chair this meeting, cannot be with us today at short notice, so I've agreed to chair the meeting. The first item is to receive apologies for absence. So we have apologies from Councillor Bennett and also Councillor Chris Hobbs. Second item is to receive declarations of interest from any other members present. I have none. There are none. Agenda item 3, to agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of June 2023, which I propose to take just by verbal affirmation. Are they agreed?
Yes.
Thank you. And then item 4, to consider any items that the chairman agrees to take as urgent business. I have none. Agenda item 5 is to receive representations from members of the council on any of the applications. We've had a written representation from Councillor Peter Chapman for Victoria Ward in Burgess Hill, and I'd like to go over to Kevin Toogood, who will read that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As a statement of support from Councillor Peter Chapman in respect of St Edward's Church Community Garden Project. The St Edward's Church Community Garden Project is an exciting initiative that will provide an enhanced green space located in one of the most deprived areas in the district and will be utilised by many community groups and local residents. The church already goes over and above to support the community with initiatives such as their low-cost community cafe, free hot meals for those that need it, and they acted as a warm hub during the energy cost crisis. The church also regularly provide catering for the town's young carers events. The Community Garden Project will build on this work and provide a space where people can come together to grow food, learn about nature and connect with others. I fully support St Edward's Church's grant application and know that their project will have a positive impact on the lives of many people in Burgess Hill, and it's a wise investment in the future of this community.
Thank you, Kevin. If we now move on to agenda item 6, which is the release of section 106 contributions, and if I could go over to Judy Holmes to introduce this item.
Thank you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The report requests the release of 2 funds, the first being a release of section 106 funding to Linfield Parish Council for the construction of a toilet block on Linfield Common. It's all listed out in Appendix A. It also requests the Cabinet Grants Panel to reconfirm the release of Section 106 funding to the Adastra Hall Community Association to provide disabled toilet facilities, including changing places toilets, I believe, and to create a self-contained activity hall in the light of a revised scheme which is outlined in paragraphs 7 to 11. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Councillor Anne-Marie Cook, would you like to, as it's in your ward, would you like to talk on the Linfield Parish Council application?
Sorry. Thank you. Yes, I'm absolutely delighted to be able to support this application, a long-awaited, long-planned for addition to sort of public conveniences in Linfield and in particular on the Common. I'm delighted to see the inclusion of the changes spaces cubicle so that a wider range of people are able to enjoy the village and the sports and the play on the Common. These changing spaces facilities are a step up from a normal disabled toilet, and it makes them suitable for older children and adults with disabilities. It will include a hoist and a changing table suitable for adults and have the space as well for a carer. So it's a very important facility to aid inclusion of everybody who wants to get out and enjoy the fresh air. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on that item, or we could then move on to the Adastra Hall item and discuss that one. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Chairman. Just like to endorse Councillor Cook's comments on that. Very pleased to see that these new facilities coming in. I think they're replacement facilities over about 20 years. So I hope the people of Lingfield haven't been waiting that long. I've got one question which if the officers could answer, which is just really looking at it. It's already got planning. It's got planning for 2 years, I think. And there's a fair bit of money required to be raised. And just are the officers confident that that money is going to be raised so that the full project can go ahead? Okay.
Yes, the parish council has already discussed it at one of their committee meetings. They've secured sufficient match funding to go ahead with the project as soon as all the necessary paperwork is in place.
Thank you. I've only got, so on Lingfield, and in particular the Changing Places cubicle, you know, we see these rolled out increasingly across the country and across the district, and they are essential if you want to improve the accessibility of your park. So I really very much welcome that for Lingfield. On the Adastra Hall one, so they've adjusted the scheme to reflect the funding, and we're assuming that the existing facilities that they've got does include accessible toilet facilities, and that what they've delayed is an enhancement to those facilities pending funding.
Yes, I mean, there are adequate toilet facilities at the moment for the hall, and the Changing Places, what that they were going to put in was an addition, which unfortunately is going to have to wait until more fundraising can be done.
Okay, thank you. If there's no more, I'd like to move to the recommendations on page 11, which is the release of the £249,785 for monies to Lingfield Parish Council, and to reconfirm our previous agreement to release £224,139.11 to the Adastra Hall Hassocks Community Association, and if we could vote using our buttons. And that is approved by the three of us. Thank you. So we now move on to agenda item 7, the corporate grant scheme, and if I could go over to Lucy Corrie to introduce that item.
Thank you. I'm
Okay.
So this is the community grants proposal, and following an assessment by officers as outlined in paragraphs 5 and 6, we're recommending that of the 11 applications received that we award funding to 8 of them. Those are outlined in table 1, paragraphs 7 to 14. The reasons for not recommending the 3 applications are outlined in table 2, paragraphs 15 to 17, and officers will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Marie Cook or Councillor Gibson, if you want to comment on generally or any of the individual applications. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Chairman. Couple of comments. On the Fairer World, which was energy saving advice, very much in favour of that. I think that's a key area. Make sure that people are looking and to make sure that energy is used wisely and that homes and so on are as well heated as can be. I just wondered whether or not this is to prepare a website, and whether or not the running costs of the website had been looked at just for the future, just to make sure that that is covered. And on the, I mean, I'm sort of disappointed to see that Arise Counselling, sort of did not make it in there. I understand the reasons why, and I think that the work that they're proposing on counselling is particularly important at this time. And I'd encourage officers just to make sure that the suggestion that they're signposted to other sources of funding is followed through. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Gibson. Councillor Cook? You're on.
Is that working? Right, thank you. Yes, I would also like to support the Fair World Linfield application. They've got a good team of volunteers, so I think once they get up and run, they'll be able to manage the running of the website. Confirm that. And also I'm pleased to see that the applications that unfortunately haven't been accepted do have pointers to where they can go for further support in these paragraphs 15 to 17. And congratulations to any that do get through. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could go over to Lucy Corrie to answer Councillor Gibson's
Thank you.
point.
Thank you. Turning to the Fairer World at paragraph 8, the running costs of an organisation are not supported by the community grants. We're very keen to kickstart activity rather than carry on with running costs. And in terms of those grants that sadly haven't got through the process, absolutely rest assured that officers are really keen to support those organisations and do as much as they can. It's not just signposting with the website, it's more than that, really support those that haven't been successful.
Thank you. I've just got a couple of comments. I'd like to endorse the comments that Councillor Peter Chapman made in supporting the application from St Edward's Church for the community garden. The church, like most churches, do a lot of work in the community, but in particular, St Edward's has a very good outreach programme, working alongside Burnside, for example, to bring in people from the community who need support. So I very much support that. I understand why Burgess Hill Community Cupboard was unsuccessful, because it's got 18 months of reserves, which is a reasonably strong financial position. I think one of the reasons why they probably applied is that they took a decision a couple of months ago to bring on their waiting list. So their membership has gone up from about 170 to about 230, 240. So I suspect that they see that there's going to be a bigger demand on their cash in the short term. But I clearly understand why they were unsuccessful this time. But obviously something that we might be able to reconsider in the future. It's very good when you look at the range of applicants that have come in, that it's a very interesting cross-section of organisations, and I'm pleased to support them. If there are no more comments, we can go on to the recommendation on page 17, which I propose that we take them all en bloc. So if we could vote using our buttons. And that is approved. Which then brings us on to agenda item 8, which is the revised corporate grants criteria. And I'd like to go over to Judy Holmes to introduce that item.
Thank you. This report comes to you following a request from the Cabinet. Officers have reviewed the criteria used to assess applications for community grants, with a particular focus on targeting grants to organisations addressing the impacts of the cost of living crisis, poverty, and I do point out a typo in paragraph 6 there, which should say poverty, and climate change, using the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Those goals are outlined in Appendix B, and Cabinet will be aware that we use those to underpin our key strategies, particularly the Sustainable Economic Strategy and the Emerging District Plan. The proposed new criteria is outlined in Appendix C. We are also proposing an enhanced approach to how we communicate, promote, publicise and support those organisations and the scheme, as outlined in paragraphs 15 to 19. The report also summarises the grants awarded and drawn down in respect to 2021-2022, and those are outlined in Appendix D. I would also draw your attention to a typo on page 39, Table 1, which should read 51,423.55, as stated in page 35. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. If I may, just a few comments. This is an important change to our corporate grants criteria. It helps to focus and join up our approach in our sustainable economic strategy to some of our wider community purposes where we support organisations in the community. And, you know, there are things that we can initiate and implement ourselves through our strategy, but by setting a criteria where we embrace the UN sustainability goals in that criteria, we help third-party organisations to think creatively and constructively around the contribution that they can make to the UN Sustainable Development Goals as well, so that as we look outward as a district council, we can say, well, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're helping to influence that change in the wider community. So I really welcome the work that my colleague, Councillor Bennett, has done with officers to bring this about. I think it is. Some people may look at it and say that it doesn't look like it's doing much, but actually it's doing quite a lot, because it's helping to make, you know, changes to behaviour in every aspect of the district life. So I think this is a very good change that we're introducing. On communications, it's important that we recognise and promote those organisations that we've given a grant awards to, but also we want to encourage more applications, and that may well give us a funding challenge going forward, and we will have to face that challenge and address it in a constructive way. But we want to say to organisations in the district that we want to support you within the grants programme that we've got, and when you're making applications, just think about what difference you are making to sustainable development where you are. So I fully endorse this new criteria. Any comments from my colleagues? Councillor Cook.
I just want to endorse exactly what you've said, really. I strongly support this change, and say for exactly the reason that Councillor Eggleston's pointed out. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to very much endorse your comments as well, and also really highlight the way in which this produces a consistency of approach across our district plan, and also, of course, sustainable economic strategy, which I think gives a clear purpose across everything. I note in particular that these grants in future will enable us to broaden the effect of, I think it's objective 17 of the Sustainable Economy Strategy, which is the partnerships. So we can start to regard all these organisations as part of the partners in the delivery of the Sustainable Economy Strategy. I did actually take the opportunity to read the 2023 Special Edition report issued by the UN into the progress against the goals. And I think it is disappointing, given that the target of actually delivering the goals by 2023. And I think that, this is a positive thing that this council can be doing to working within them, and it should be very much more widely adopted. So yes, I'm very pleased to see these changes, and we'll be looking to work within the new framework.
Thank you. So if there's no more, we have the recommendations on page 27, which to approve the new assessment criteria, including the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and to endorse the approach to enhanced communication for the community grant scheme and all other funding streams. So if we could then vote on our buttons. And that is approved. So that brings us to the end of this meeting. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you to the officers for your support. Thank you.
The last June